Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to another weight loss video. Hope you enjoy. Almost 2 years in, 311 pounds lost. I'm very proud and happy, but it's still a struggle. I was overweight my whole life. Food got me through anxiety and depression and boredom and anger. Binging was the closest thing I ever had to self-care. It served a valuable purpose in my life, and it was trying to kill me. By 33, I weighed 450 pounds. That year, my brother died of cancer at age 37. His death sent me into a major depression, and again, I turned to food to cope. When I turned 37, I weighed 520 pounds. Turning that age, the same age my brother was when he died, woke me up. I kept thinking, if I don't get to live another year, is this how I want to spend my time? So I started again. I'd tracked calories before and exercised and gone to support groups, but I decided that if I was going to have any chance, I needed to be smart, open, and honest about it this time. So I got into weekly therapy with a great therapist, and after doing a lot of research, started vegetarian keto and intermittent fasting. I also left a relationship that had become emotionally shredding due to neglect on both our part, but that's another long story. I started with 16-8 fasting protocol, basically skipping dinner, and ate under 30 grams of carbs per day and around 2,500 calories. I tracked using Carb Manager and ate a mix of salads, nuts, avocados, eggs, low-carb vegan protein shakes, some tofu, vegan meat replacements, and healthy oils. It was not awesome for the first week, to be honest. Cutting sugar and carbs gave me headaches and chills. But I kept on with it, tracking religiously and going to therapy. After a couple of weeks, I noticed that I was far more emotional when I was talking with my therapist and just generally in life. Without the binging, the feelings and thoughts weren't stuck in me anymore. I did a lot of hard work during that time, grieving my brother, dealing with some past traumas, retraining myself to cope with anxiety, and all the time staying on track with food. Within a few months, I was doing 24 fasts, had to cut my calories to around 2,200, and did a couple of extended fasts, around 72 hours. Hey Narwhals, just a warning, please always consult a healthcare professional before attempting fasting. The weight came off quickly. I was down 100 pounds within 6 months, and the weight loss stayed steady. My fasted glucose levels, which I started measuring with the Keto Mojo blood monitor, dropped from around 115 to the mid-80s. My blood pressure dropped significantly, and I felt good enough to start some exercise, mostly just simple walking. The biggest change, though, was in my thoughts. I swear, sugar dictates my thinking if I let myself have it. Without sugar, compulsion was replaced by actual hunger. Compulsion isn't something I can manage effectively. But I learned, maybe for the first time in my life, what actual hunger cues felt like, ones that weren't clouded by addiction. In January of this year, I went to the doctor for the first time in years. By then, I had dropped almost 300 pounds. Unfortunately, my high saturated fat diet had impacted my cholesterol badly. The doc wanted to put me on statins, but I asked him for 6 months to try turning it around through diet and exercise. So, for the last 6 months, I added some healthy carbs back into my diet, berries, oatmeal, more fruits and veg, and I went to a fully plant-based eating, added in a regular resistance training program, and upped the intensity of my walking. Oh, and I did add a treat day every week where I let myself not track and eat at restaurants if I feel like it. My weight loss has hit a plateau, but I'm definitely adding muscle. I've been right around 210 for a couple months. 2 weeks ago, I went back to the doc for blood work, and he literally said, "Holy crap, you absolutely turned your cholesterol around. I'm now in an optimal range across the board." Other landmarks along the way: 1. I bought a pair of 34-inch waist pants and a slim fit large from Banana Republic, a store I would never have been able to shop in previously. When I started losing, I was a size 64-inch pants from DXL and a 6X shirt. 2. I flew for a job interview, which I got, by the way, without worrying about fitting in the seat. Believe me, that would have absolutely sent me spiraling with anxiety previously. 3. I'm able to run, hike, do yoga, just basically move again, with joy. It's fun, and I look forward to it. I find excuses to add movement and steps into my day. 4. All of my health markers are good. I even got a colonoscopy, my brother had colon cancer, and I was all good. Now, here's the thing. It's still a struggle every day. Since changing my diet to address the cholesterol, I find myself having compulsive feelings around food once again. It's the sugar and carbs, I swear. But now I know and I face it. I show up every day, not aiming for perfection, but working towards my physical and mental health. It's all connected. I am not perfect, but I show up. That's the best I can keep doing. I'm proud of what I've achieved, regretful for the years I spent locked in unhealth, and hopeful for the future. Wow, you've done an incredible thing here. Good for you. You deserve all the accolades in the world. Just look at you. I'm sure you have such a fun, active, healthy lifestyle to support this. It's very interesting how connected food, trauma, and grief are. I know that I got the largest I've ever been after the death of a loved one. I am sure your brother would be so proud of you right now. Harder than addressing the food is addressing all those repressed emotions that food can drown out, and you did that. Amazing. Your post really resonated with me, the long-term journey in particular. I read it twice through. I had less to lose in the beginning, but your journey sounds so much like mine. I had the same moment when I decided that if I didn't do something different, my life was not going to go anywhere better ever again. It did get jump-started a bit at the beginning when I found out I had lost 10 pounds a year for the previous 3 years in a row at a doctor appointment. It just hadn't previously registered with me because who cares if you lose 10 pounds when you're that overweight? But I lost 30. I also realized I was still wearing the same clothes I was wearing from 3 years earlier. I didn't even know what size I was and was wandering around in these giant clothes, not even realizing it. That was depression. So I started slowly, just with a checklist. I think this is pretty much it. 1. Try to make better food choices most of the time. 2. 10,000 steps a day. Bought a Fitbit. 3. Try to eat as little solid food as possible past late afternoon, like you, basically making dinner minimal. 4. Pick something to deep clean or to organize. A drawer, shelf, private closet, those are manageable projects. Find stuff to donate, etc. And 5. Perform an act of personal care. Facial teeth whitener. I also did simple things like make myself wear some earrings every day, which made it harder to feel like a slob. I did not always get all 5 of those things done, but I started every day intending to, and I usually did at least 3 of the list, most of the time, over the long haul, and the weight came off. I did prioritize the 10,000 steps. That was always goal number 1 for the day. Sometimes it was 7,000 steps, and that's okay. Also, weight isn't always just about food and exercise. It's about self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. So gradually working on those other things at the same time really cleaned up my whole environment and made everything easier and more clear, if that makes sense. I was no longer so chaotic inside, and my surroundings got more manageable at the same time. I needed to learn to sit with being hungry and understand that it wasn't gonna kill me. I still can't tell you what has always made me severely anxious about feeling hungry with no food available, but when I was heavy, I would even take a secret sandwich out to my bedroom at night in case I got hungry, so I didn't wake the pets up going down to the actual kitchen. Once I started doing that, just sitting with the hunger, wow, did the feelings come out. I think I cried every day for 2 years while the weight was coming off. So much processing. For the last year, I've just been working on staying the same weight for a little bit. I bought a lot of cool clothes at a new normal, but not skinny size, pre-pandemic, and never wore them. I'd like to get to wear those, and then maybe think about another 5 pounds a year from now on. I'm in no hurry. Anyway, you look like you're in the best place you could possibly be. You've truly turned your life around, and that is something to be joyful about and proud of. Congratulations. Could you walk us through how to fight the urges to binge? A lot of it is mindfulness practice. I scan my body for physical sensations, and then I scan my body for emotions, and then I scan the room. 5 things I see, 4 things I hear, 3 I feel, 2 I smell and taste in my mouth. It just gets me out of the thought and into the present reality. I highly recommend checking out Judson Brewer's The Craving Mind. Wow, you're doing amazing. I'm so happy for you and proud, even though I don't know you. This stuff is so hard, especially the therapy part. I will say to anyone that listens that I wasn't able to get a handle on my physical health until I managed my mental health. People don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. I also follow a plant-based diet, and the carbs are hard. There are some things I just can't keep in the house. For me, it's salty, crispy things like chips. I'm not at my goal weight yet, but I'm a year in and I'm beginning to think some things may never get easier. But we've just got to keep fighting the good fight and remembering why we're doing this in the first place. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please tap subscribe to join our awesome community, the Narwhals, and for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. And here's our featured Narwhal of the day.